itching beneath the surface, raw emotions and feeling feral. I may look scarred and flawed, unattractive from these so-called wars. Don't underestimate me by my shell. There's a phoenix tapped to my core. When you've traveled these paths of hell, you don't want another to make the same walk. Just when you think everyone's let go, not me, not today, not on my watch. On my watch. Questions chip away at your mind. Do you walk this empty journey alone? Each step burdened with ball and chain. Will any place ever again feel like home? These eyes have seen enough in life, experience vision on the struggles you're walking through. I can't fight your battles in your stead. However, I stand unwavering in the fire with you. I may look scarred and flawed, unattractive from these so-called wars. Don't underestimate me by my shell. There's a phoenix tapped to my core. When you've traveled these paths of hell, you don't want another to make the same walk. Just when you think you're left alone, not me, not today, not on my watch. I'm the gladiator that everyone deserves, steadfast and focused at their side, the one to help pick you up and instill confidence in the temptation to hide. Just one heart made up of many, paying it forward to another in need. Together a force to be reckoned with passion and strength we can stop the bleed. I may look scarred and flawed, unattractive from these so-called wars. Don't underestimate me by my shell. There's a phoenix tapped to my core. When you've traveled these paths of hell, you don't want another to make the same walk. Just when you think you're left alone, not me, not today, not on my watch.
You need to know that I love it here. I love this place. And when you know I'm coming here, leave me alone. Don't bother me, because I'm having a good time.
Fury like the sun, Friday's begun. Hardcore dancing crowd jumping one by one. Soul man spin the track, records get scratched. Bass heavy bumping, speakers blast back. Lighting fires on Friday, flames in the night. Trumpets blaring loud, feel the hype. Crowd amped up, everybody in sight. Heavy beats drop, elevating to a new height. Step in the spot, feet can't stop. Sweat on the brow, crowd about to pop. Soul man on the decks, dropping them beats. Heating up the floor, can't stay in your seats. Ignite the spark, let the rhythm take hold. Hardcore vibes, future stories to be told. Trumpets roar, echo through the dome. Records spin, this dance our home. Lights flash, shadows flicker to the sound. Bassline tremble, shaking underground. Soul man in control, pure fire we found. Energy unrivaled, we reign unbound. Lighting fires on Friday, flames in the night. Trumpets blaring loud, feel the hype. Crowd amped up, everybody in sight. Heavy beats drop, elevating to a new height. on. Soul man on the scene. Get those hands up. It's time to raise that roof. Feel the beats, surge in the streets. Crank it up loud, dance those feet. Soul man kicking the jams to hype the crowd. Commitment to share and joy, a solemn vow. Getting jiggy with it, slaying that floor. Bust out that groovy wheeze, ready for more. Cue it up, soul man, electrify the air. Here comes the boom, shaking our derriere. Feed that hype, now bring the noise. Charge the crowd, Friday joy. Giving that funk to move that trunk, waving from your chair like you just don't care. The crowd hands up, fueling that hype. Blow the roof off the studio, tonight's that night. Cue it up, soul man, electrify the air. Here comes the boom, shaking our derriere. Feed that hype, now bring the noise. Charge the crowd, Friday joy. You are owed this moment for working those hours exclusively. Breaking down the walls, a roaring phoenix to be set free. All of the rocking crowd waving in unison, hyped out of our minds. Let Friday begin. Whoop, whoop. Coming up, soul man, electrify the air. Here comes the boom, shaking our derriere. Feed that hype, now bring the noise. Charge the crowd, Friday joy. You are owed this moment for working those hours exclusively. Breaking down the walls, a roaring phoenix to be set free. All of the rocking crowd waving in unison, hyped out of our minds. Let Friday begin. Whoop, whoop. Cue it up, soul man, electrify the air. Here comes the boom, shaking our derriere. Feed that hype, now bring the noise. Charge the crowd, Friday joy. Do it up, soul man. Do it up, soul man. Do it up, soul man. Do it up, Friday joy. Do it up, Friday joy. Do it up, soul man. Do it up, Friday joy. She's remembered as that small-time girl, making it big in this lonely world. Off the train, from anywhere, he's still that city boy. Worked hard to achieve, rejoice, having taken the same train anywhere. Meeting each other again in an unknown room, feels together yet worlds apart, hearts of living in tune. Just the smell of memories and a familiar perfume. For the evening, they share space in the open night. They slow sway alone together in the spotlight. They just continue to dance on and on and on and on. They're taking off to the boulevard, looking up at that starry night, living again to feel dormant emotions somewhere out there in this open world. Digging in deep to achieve those thrills, living a dream with a cup to fill. Sacrifices made rolling those dice. Once it hurt just one more time.
spirits enjoying their path. Don't forget this feeling. Take my hand, honey, just hold on. A reason to continue believing. Don't forget this feeling. A reason to continue believing. Like-minded spirits enjoying their path. Hold on, don't stop believing. Hold on, don't stop believing. Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Live streams and packets, we're in the zone. Learning the ins and outs of social media. We're not
Hashtag space for
alone.
crafts, yo!
Speakers talking about creating your brand at Podfest 2025, where we all understand we're content creators, feeling so alive,
Where's the other one?
like family. At Podfest we thrive.
Oh my god, it's the first hug!
Laughter and joy, it's a beautiful ride. Together we soar,
Let's go drink.
side by side. Microphones
Hey,
in
brother.
hand, sharing our voice. Building connections, it's our ultimate choice. From dawn till dusk, we're in sync. At Podfest 2025, we never overthink. We're content creators, feeling so alive, like family. At Podfest, we thrive. Laughter and joy, it's a beautiful ride. Together we soar, side by side. Embracing creativity, chasing our dreams, sparking inspiration, nothing's as it seems. United we stand in this digital land at Podfest 2025, hand in hand. We're content creators, feeling so alive, like family. At Podfest we thrive. Laughter and joy, it's a beautiful ride. Together we soar, side by side.
Peace and Hulk heart from Soul Man Life.
Friday night electricity, everyone dancing, feeling free, pushing kindness, spreading love, uplifting vibes and from above. Soul man spread inside, setting the trend tonight, reaching out, hand in hand, together we'll make a stand. Hearts on fire, spirits high, music's magic fills the sky. Soulful rhythms, moving feet. In this moment we all meet. Soul man spread inside, setting the trend tonight, reaching out, hand in hand, together we'll make a stand. mama, that badass beat. Your body unable, resist the motion. Volume cranked, ain't no being discreet. Whoop whoop, shake it, baby. Dropping dance moves with bad behavior. Summertime on here, let loose. Grooving what your mama gave you. Feed it, fuel it, jam it, dunk it. Free it, flip it, spin it, crump it. Drop those stack moves, jazzing it up as you funk it. The ladies are sizzling, it's smoking a tire, and the gents all spiffed up, looking Mac, raising the temperature. The thermometer's about to crack. Shake it, baby. Dropping dance moves with bad behavior. Summertime to let loose. Grooving what your mama gave you. Welcome back to summer. Windows down and barbecues searing. This is the season for new memories. The nostalgia of it all just so appealing. Those cold crisp drinks and them starry nights. That cool evening breeze, eyes twinkling in campfire light. Shake it, baby. Dropping dance moves with bad behavior. Summertime to let loose. Grooving what your mama gave you. Bust the beat out on that floor, dancing crazy out of control. Don't ask when it ends, something about summer that just makes us whole. Soak up them rays, taking that summer night sky. Capitalize on every moment, don't let it pass by. Shake it, baby. Dropping dance moves with bad behavior. Summertime to let loose. Grooving what your mama gave you. Soul man, shout out to all those summertime jams that we remember that always set the tone. Hashtag space for crafts, yo. Peace and big burly hugs. Shake it, baby. Dropping dance moves with bad behavior. Summertime to let loose. Grooving what your mama gave you. Them wheels always turning, traveling down this road of dreams. Scraping myself back from homelessness, patching this heart up at the seams. Almost lost this dream I'm living before the story could ever unfold. These potholes are battle honors of how a soul can rise from the cold. A freedom alive again on this highway, paid from the lessons to be told. Finding home where least expected, living life again while out on this road. Those moments have passed, don't define me. They help to create a new mold, aiming for that path of peace and resolve, new adventures to unfold. No longer entertaining a stroll with loneliness, traveling God's country in Penticton. I can pull that sharp sliver from my chest. A freedom alive again on this highway, paid from the lessons to be told. Finding home where least From the Namo to Victoria, this heart has healed. Edmonton to Calgary, lifting me back up when I've kneeled. Traveling to Bellingham with Timmy's coffee delights, spending moments with dear spirits, breathing again with the sights. A freedom alive again on this highway, paid from the lessons to be told, finding home where least expected, living life again while out on this road. Saskatoon to Regina, with those free-flowing prairies, to the lights of Winnipeg, where I get to see those I call family. New spirits to encounter around each turn and bend. A tapestry sky by the ocean, wishing for this moment to never end. A freedom alive again on this highway, paid from the lessons to be told, finding home where least expected, living life again while out on this road.
Exercise the demons, yo!
You ready for this? Here we go again. Bodies rocking the wave. Do it up, soul man. Ah! Heat waves radiating through your radio. Your feet shock waving the Richter scale. On your mark, ready, set, let's go. Track ripple in the airwaves tight. Fired up, Phoenix impact in the region. We make the change, make the stand. Here through hellfire in any season. We are the ones achieving bionic vision, learning, growing, evolving, embraced by the qualified at your table. Break down the walls, stigmas dissolving. Get ya! Break down the walls, stigmas dissolving. Yeah, yeah. Listen up, buttercup, don't get stuck. We know when we've had enough. Yeah, Mack truck hauling ass, not relying, try to live on another's luck. Climb through wet concrete muck, gone through enough adversity, wiser now, make that badass strut. Respect the boundaries, or emotions are gonna get honesty's cut. Track ripple in the airwaves tight, fired up, Phoenix impact in the region. We make the change, make the stand, here through hellfire in any season. We are the ones achieving bionic vision, learning, growing, evolving, embraced by the qualified at your table. Break down the walls, stigmas dissolving. Spinning up, wizard track, soul man live, watching your back. Magnificent souls, not someone else's stats. Phenomenal power within, vulnerabilities impact. Hearts loaded, lighten the path with struggle and facts. Rise up, stronger, wiser, vision, elite and stack. Truth is your heroes that deserve this spotlight. Life's too short, gotta celebrate every day. Igniting an explosion in the darkness of night. Track ripple in the airwaves tight, fired up, Phoenix impact in the region. We make the change, make the stand, here through hellfire in any season. We are the ones achieving bionic vision, learning, growing, evolving, embraced by the qualified at your table. Break down the walls, stigmas dissolve.
tonight. Chasing bold, whistle bold, and buckle down the ice. And the goalie jumped, and the players bumped, and the man will go and see. Hockey scores in the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game. And the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Son, as I sit here reflecting at the end of each day, 9 years you sat in my mind before blessing a soldier's heart in the month of May. The moment the doctor puts you in my hands revealed something unknown to me. How much you would change my life, standing strong, being everything you need me to be. Pretending like Green Hornet and Kato, jumping into the car. A charismatic, dynamic duo, pushing each other far and far. Getting into mischief, as us boys sometimes do. This world has thrown a lot at us. Come hell or high water, I will see you through. Dad with our Nerf wars, foam swords and funny hats, giving me great memories to which I can look back. It's the Gibson boys' night. Mad Hatter with sidekick Daz, Big Daz Nation, escaping away from the world, feeling like we're always on vacation. Pretending like Green Hornet and Kato, jumping into the car. A charismatic, dynamic duo, pushing each other far and far. Getting into mischief, as us boys sometimes do. This world has thrown a lot at us. Come hell or high water, I will see you through. My boy, he taught this man a new way to dig deep and be tough. I'm proud of how you've grown, even living through moments that were rough. Thank you forever, my little man. No matter the distance, beside you I will always stand. Pretending like Green Hornet and Kato, jumping into the car. Jumping into the car. A charismatic, dynamic duo, pushing each other forward and far. Getting into mischief, as us boys sometimes do. This world has thrown a lot at us. Come hell or high water, I will see you through. Hey, Dad, we've road tripped so far, with so many places that we've gone and go. Making sure I had lots of movies and snacks, funny faces in traffic as we drive in the snow. Thank you, Dad, for when we spend time. The fun, the scares, the laughs. My best ally when the moment calls. A partner in crime, up to the task. Oh, pretending like Green Hornet and Kato, jumping into the car. Jumping into the car. A charismatic, dynamic duo, pushing each other forward and far. Getting into mischief, as us boys sometimes do. This world has thrown a lot at us. Come hell or high water, I will see you through. coming undone. And exercising the system with different perspective, a different view, delivering that universal joy that's long overdue. 'Cause if you hear me, psych up the mode. This is Aaron Gibson, Soul and Li-Fi. Gladiator, whole cart ready to explode. Moving cubebox with speakers blasting, funkin' relaxing, pumping in the air. That pounding in your chest, emitting from within. Cue the trumpets in your solar flare. Momentum growing like a Titan's wrath. Crowd building it up now. It's time to broadcast. Your photo whacking, flares that tapping, moon sliding on that floor. Like Michael Bublé crooning with records scratching. Your body screams it wants more. We're all hyped up, it's Friday night, and the band's ready to go. Souls are shaking with the earthquake, and let's get on with the show. 'Cause if you hear me, psych up the mode. This is Aaron Gibson, Soul Man, Li-Fi. Gladiator, whole cart ready to explode. Groovy jukebox with speakers blasting, funky lassie, bumping in the air. That pounding in your chest, emitting from within. Cue the trumpets in your solar flare. Here comes the intro with the soul style beat. The wait is all over now, igniting the phoenix is what we see. 'Cause if you hear me, psych up the mode. This is Aaron Gibson, Soul Man, Li-Fi. Gladiator, whole cart ready to explode. Groovy jukebox with speakers blasting, funky lassie, bumping in the air. That pounding in your chest, emitting from within. Cue the trumpets in your solar flare.
Good evening and happy Father's Day, everyone. As I'm starting to just assemble, we're going to just call it Fun Day because it's a little Friday mixed in with Sunday. And what better way to do this on Father's Day is making Father's Day a Friday, literally on a Sunday. You know how the Mad Hatter works. This is the way that we roll. These are the things that we do here in Jurassic Park as we fly by the seat of our pants. Great to engage with everybody again, once again in the comments, and thank you all for your support of Father's Day here. We have assembled tonight to just give that healthy, safe space for other dads out there. I myself am without my boy Dylan tonight. However, I've always got him in spirit, which brings me to my first story, where my hat actually comes from on Soul Man Live. For those of you that have never ever attended the show, there's little cookies left throughout my show, and this hat is one of my signature things. It was similar to the way that Carol Burnett sends a signal, or used to send a signal to her husband when she was finishing up a live show, that she would generally grab her earlobe to just basically send a message to say, hey, you know what, I'm thinking of you, I'm on my way home, and I love you. And for me, wherever this hat goes, my son is with me. So, of course, that is where this funky, awesome Tilly hat comes from. And, of course, I like to fold up my brim because that's just me. I'm a little bit of an oddie Bogkins, but those that are around me generally end up getting one of my hats. And I'm always anticipating to see what they're actually going to do with it, whether they fold it up or do they just leave it down. We'll see as the night unfolds. So happy Father's Day. Wow, what a night. So much going on. And of course, oh, a little clearing of the throat. A big shout out to just the love and support that has come in. Thank you for all. Like, I came onto LinkedIn and there was a whole bunch of happy Father's Day's messages, which was just I'm so grateful and appreciative of. Where did this show come from? How did all these messages? Why are people sending me all these messages? Who am I? I got asked this actually, and speak of a like-minded soul, there's Jackie Halberg. I got asked this recently, and I was actually very blessed to spend the evening with Christy in the comments there. She was a guest as well, and we got about 30 minutes to each of us talk. And it's really hard to share a story, a very long journey in a very short amount of time. And I felt that it was time on Father's Day to actually tell that story because literally the two tie in hand. This journey of mine, this whole Soul Man Live, this whole adventure as Aaron Gibson, as a brand on LinkedIn, and just being me, being my authentic, genuine self, um, all started because of my son. So it was a reciprocation in the fact that my son really motivated me to do the things that I wanted to do with my life. And there was a lot of challenges. There was a lot of tough times. I see you, Tim Sohn. Holy sweet Mary Mother Pearl. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being here. And hello, Michelle. Yes, let's take a quick before we start diving down this deep kind of rabbit hole, as I've been telling everybody this evening. It's like we're gonna tell a little bit about my journey and who I am and why the show is the way it is. And then we're also going to talk with some other dads here this evening that are joining us. And we're also going to be talking about men's mental health that I feel still, even to this day, is really given some recognition that it really properly deserves. I'm not saying it's being swept under the carpet. What I'm saying is it needs more. And of course, we need more in a lot of different areas. Now, that being said, Soul Man Live is also a big time equalitarian, inclusive show. And there's a lot of other people that are fulfilling that role as a father, that are a single parent, and whether it be a mother or just somebody else supporting that role as a foster parent, there's a lot of other people that play that father role. And of course, during the show, I highly encourage everybody to just take a moment and shout out a special dad in their world. um Tonight's episode, oh, here we go, right into it before we get into the feels. What we will shout out everybody, but tonight's episode is a special dedication. It's actually dedicated to my grandfather. Um, he is a great man. He had a major impact in my world. And of course, I can't help but get a little bit choked up every time I think of him. There's a lot going on in his world right now, and it's a big challenge. Recently, he fell and fractured his tailbone, and as well as dealing with pneumonia in a hospital. So, on top of that, he's still got a cancer that they haven't diagnosed. He's fighting right now, and he's being his typical Scottish stubborn self, which bless his heart. I have been gifted with that same tool of the trade, as it were. But he is fighting right now, and tonight I had to dedicate this special episode. And of course, there was kind of him and haws on whether I was going to do it. All right, so keeping focus, because we do have focus this evening. I see Melissa Houston out there. I see you, Tim Sohn. Of course, we've got Donald Baker sitting in our green room right now. Thank you once again, Jackie Halberg. I did give some shout outs, and some of the music that I've played out there this evening. All that music that you did hear was written by myself. Hello, sweet Mary Mother Pearl. There's Marcello. I sorry, I say Marcello because it's like Francisco. It's such a fun name to always say, and I always enjoy it when he pops in because I say it to myself. All right, moving along. Leslie Flowers, thank you so much for being here, my lady. And of course, we've got Gregory Liverpool, who is keeping us up to date. He's like, yeah, that's hold on, I'm going to go back to the comment here and I'm going to pull it up real quick. One of Gregory's comments that I've actually got starred was in regards to the Grant Fuhr of the old Edmonton Oilers. Long story. We'll get back to that later. We're hopefully going to have Gregory here on screen at some point. Where did it go? There we go. The Winnipeg picture is the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Yes, absolutely. I was there in Winnipeg just this past week. I got the most amazing experience getting to visit with my brother Donald, who was again in the green room, and of course my sister Sam, do some TikToks. Big shout out to Carly. for just making me feel so at home and so welcome when I was away from home. It's been a crazy day or a crazy year of travels and adventure. And let's just say that having Father's Day is that one moment to reflect. And as well, June being Men's Mental Health Month is take a sharp reflection. And that's what I've literally done with my world. My whole mental health, how Soul Man came to be. A whim off of my son encouraging me to say, hey, get on social media. You're kind of funny, Dad. Okay, let's give it a whirl. We'll see if the world wants to receive me the way that my son sees me. And it became a little bit fun. At the same time, I was going through living hell. I had lost my home. I had lost everything that I had worked up to achieve. I had gotten to a corporate job, lost that corporate job, um, going through a severe mental health adversity. I was unsupported in that experience, but I had to fight back. And I had to fight back through watching everything that I did own disappear, having to go through the tough experiences of explaining to my son at a very young age when I felt he deserved a good childhood that I'm sorry, my boy, we're poor. I can't do the fun and amazing things that we were doing before because I can't afford to do them right now. It's just important that we stay to the crucials, which is a roof overhead, food in the belly, and a safe space to sleep. Didn't want to have that conversation with him. However, it was a conversation because I always tried to raise him in a clear and transparent way that we need to communicate. We need to communicate better. So during that time, of course, learned out that I had PTSD. I'd reach out, get the therapy. Took a moment when I thought I was having a heart attack to push me over that edge to reach out and get the help. Meanwhile, everything that I had worked to build and achieve just seemed to be moving from one home to the next with no steady place. No comfort, no moment to really relax. Every penny was crucial. Every penny was accounted for, and then some. Going days, sometimes multiple, sometimes a week without food. Watching my son eat and staying there and staying strong and pretending like nothing's going on. Because of course, what we're talking about here tonight as well is men's mental health is I had to be the man. I had to be the father. I had to be the responsible one and try and shelter my son as best as possible, or my child as best as possible, from the adversities of this world and understanding that, you know what, as bad as things get, we will always have each other and we will always pull each other through. Now, during that whole little experience, things did get from bad to worse. I had a saying that, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Spent a couple of my months, hence why, sometimes my words don't come out so great here on Soul Man Live. Spent a couple of months living out of my car on raw craft and tuna. There's a reason I'm missing some teeth, quite a few teeth. A lot of my teeth are destroyed now at this point. Those were hard times. And again, trying to keep my son sheltered from all of that, showing him that you can rise above, you can overcome. And at the same time, learning myself that there needed to be a change of mindset. I had a responsibility as a father to give him the best avenues as possible. Living with PTSD, there's multiple different facets that come into play. Anxiety, depression, insomnia. The list goes on and on. Hypervigilance. Doing all of this on your own, living out of a car, and making every penny count, trying desperately to find that beautiful place to work. It's not an easy road. It's not an easy road for any single parent. But we made it happen. One of the hardest things I think I've ever had to overcome in my world was the divorce. Not so much from, we had a very respectful, mutual separation. The hardest part was losing every day of coming home and seeing my son, spending that time with him. playing golf in the backyard, or again, getting shot up with Nerf darts. Those little moments all add up. And when they're gone, you appreciate them just that much more. So there's some heated topics out there this month as well. And it was actually a really challenging topic. And of course, I like to bring things up and be vulnerable and candid about the way that we're going to kind of run the show this evening. Is again, tonight is a celebration of dads. It's talking about dads out there that have had a major impact. It may be a dad that had a negative impact in your world if you're wanting to share that. And you are in a healthy, safe space to do so. When you're here, you are in my space. And I maintain that space, and we make sure that everybody is respected. Additionally, we might have single moms that come up on stage, and you know what? They serve the role just as much. My mom was one of those people. My dad was away very constantly on survey for his company. And so my mom was literally mom and the dad figure of knowing when to push us guys into the right directions. So sit back, relax, enjoy some of the fantastic things that are going on here, and know that this show comes from a place of hardship to make things beautiful again for those that are silently struggling, looking for a place to reach out and understand that, yes, you may be feeling the entire world on your shoulders, but you're not alone. There's others that have walked maybe a harder path. But one thing that needs to be clear is that trauma is trauma. No trumps another trauma. Or sure, no trauma trumps another trauma. It's trauma, period. No one gets the upper hand on that. You have suffered through something that has impacted your world. And now I want to encourage you tonight to break down the walls, as I said in a lot of my music, break down the walls tonight so that we can see that as much as we have a men's mental health, that everybody's mental health is important here. Understanding that tonight we're not going to just look at men's side of things. We're going to look at things as equals. Understanding that on both sides of the fence, we have bad apples. And again, on the same side of the fence, we've got good apples. And I love the apples terminology for the simple fact is when you have that fresh bushel of apples on your table and just one happens to be rotten inside that bushel, it's going to turn the rest of the bushels brown, make them rot. It's very similar to the people that we surround ourselves in our world. So now that you've gotten a little insight into the person that I am and where we steer things, I'm going to, without further delay, because I know that we're on a little bit of a time crunch, and I'm going to cut the monologue short. But we're going to dive a little bit deep. We're also going to talk about some great things about being a dad, some of the fun and funny experiences I've had. Oh, God. I've had so many funny, bad experiences that I want to share. But we're going to bring up our guests first this evening to just kind of share the stage without further delay or ado. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, aliens from all planets, please welcome to the Soul Man stage, Donald Baker and Charles Phillips. Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing this evening?
How's it going, Aaron?
It's going groovy. How you doing, Charles? Do we have reception down there? I know that Costa Rica, the reception down there is not always so hot.
I'm doing all right. Good to be here, and thank you for having the show on tonight. It's not your typical evening.
Absolutely. Well, hey, make Sunday fun day with a little Friday, right? Hashtag copyright rights reserved.
I'm just gonna jump right into it. Sam and I don't have long to stick around with you.
Absolutely.
You were discussing hats. I have mine.
Brim down.
I love it. I just want to show everyone again, if they don't remember from many episodes ago, Aaron signed the inside of the hat for me. So this is something close to my heart.
That's a season 1 hat, man.
It is. There
was very few. There was only 3 hats that I gave out that year, and those were season 1 hats.
Well, I try not to wear it too much because I don't want your writing to wear off, but I might have it run over with an embroiderer one day so we don't lose it.
I can always sign it again the next time I see you if you want, man. Just saying. So,
But yeah,
Donald, talk to me, brother. Father's Day, what does it mean to you? How does it impact you right now as a person? Ooh, and let's
uh,
let's make this with a follow-up question.
well, today,
Two. Hold on. The last follow-up question before you get into this, all right, is 2 qualities that you feel a father should have towards their child. All right. So give us your thoughts on fatherhood, and then again, 2 qualities you feel a father should have.
oh man.
It's okay. Take your time. There is no rush. You know that there's no rush on this show.
Well, father definitely has to have understanding and patience, but those are often one group together. Um, I guess the biggest thing I ever hope to teach my child is just to appreciate the position that other people may be in. It's often not that different from our own. Um, and I think in today's day and age, we easily forget this fact. So, um, yeah, it's today's a bit harder for me. We have really nice weather today, a nice breeze. It's not terribly hot, so that's it's been very nice in that respect. I've thought about my father lots today, so I'm also thinking about all the fathers and men out there who have lost their fathers. Um, yeah, it's just a lot of reflection today for me. I'm coming down off of the energy of our visit this week. We did a lot of touring and a lot of talking, and fatherhood was never that easy for me because I did a lot of it on my own. Um, one of the hardest lessons I had to learn was just not putting too much energy into anyone other than my child. I don't know if I'm saying that the right way, but sometimes there's people in your lives that just aren't doing you any good, and you have to learn how to take your life and your family and just protect that and move along with yourselves, right? Um, mental health, men's mental health. I've had a struggle with it. Um, I haven't been as lucky as others in finding the right person to talk to about the struggles all the time. The system does have things in place, but there's also that um, the hurdle of finding the right person in the system. So, yeah, uh, hearts out to all those guys out there who want to talk but can't, or feel ashamed to, or feel that crying might make them feel, might make them appear something other than what they are. I think if I could have one thing about society changed, it would be that stereotype that a man should never cry, or that he should keep everything inside and not be able to release his inner upsets or frustrations. Um, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Um, I don't know if Sam here wants to say anything, but uh, yeah, we love you, brother. We love what you do. Thank you for giving me the time to be with you today, and thank you for the universe works in weird ways, and I just want to share this with everyone because during our time together this week, um, I just so happened to get a phone call from somebody that I normally would never have heard from, and receive some information that I don't know how I would have handled it without Aaron there. So I love you, brother.
I love you too, man. And I'm just glad that the universe had me in the right place at the right time for that moment. And we're just going to continue to work through that, man, together.
Yep.
And that's a big thing out there is, again, just recognizing just common good, being good humans to other humans.
Yep.
And we had that moment together, and that's I'm just glad that I was there, man. We're
And
gonna see a new
Charles,
day.
Charles, if you ever get a chance to get a big burly hug in person, holy man, they're the best.
I think I started to hear bones start to crack there when I was doing it, so I had to listen off. But I felt it was warranted right then and there, man. Just so you know.
Oh my god. No, I love you, brother. We're gonna bounce, but you guys have
Okay.
a great show, and I'm gonna watch you out on the replay.
All right, love you guys. Safe driving, okay?
Have a good night, everyone. Happy Father's
Bye.
Day. Bye.
Happy Father's Day. Bye. All right. Thank you for Donald and Sam for showing up and spending a little bit of time with us. Charles, my friend, it is your turn up on stage. What's on your mind, my friend?
Well, I just wanted to again say thank you for having your show on Father's Day. I know you've had difficulties being a father, and you asked Don about what it means to be a father, and I think, unfortunately, that's something we are struggling with big time in the U.S. as what is a man? What is a father? What are men and fathers supposed to do, not do? Are they supposed to have feelings? Some feelings, full feelings.
It's a challenge. It is an
Yeah,
absolute challenge.
it's a huge challenge, and unfortunately, I think part of it is history, which we have to acknowledge were about 1700 years ago, a Roman emperor decided to, quote unquote, become Christian, and that led to centuries of men, primarily white men, saying, okay, we're in charge, everyone else needs to obey us, and that was never what the gospel was supposed to be. The gospel is supposed to be good news, saying that you and I are in charge and everyone else has to bow down. That's not good news for us or them.
I
And
absolutely hear you on that, Charles. And this is where I'm gonna just jump in with you on this so that people have a little bit more context behind this, because I know I'm blessed. I know you a little bit better and a little bit more context so that people aren't misunderstanding that is again. And we're talking about reality here. Again, we've got certain individuals there, we've got stigmas out there. We've got absolute stigmas out there. And yes, one of those stigmas out there is white guys. I'm blessed in my world because I've come from a culture, and of course, a lot of my family. Like I've got so many different cultures in my family that I'm kind of blessed in that avenue. However, there is a world out there where we've come through history, and if we look at history, that there's been certain moments in history that get, I don't know if they get put under the microscope a little bit too far. Because I mean, if we take a look back and we take down we just take a look at guys in general, right? I mean, we've got such a diverse world. All of us are coming from a world of expectation. There's a certain expectation that society, whether we've heard it or been cultured to it, or a behavior that's been instilled into us unknowingly, like that culture of expectations is what starts to mold us. Would you not say that that's a more fair statement? And again, that yes, we have certain patterns within every culture that has a negative side to it, but in general, it comes down to the expectation. What do people look at us as men? That's the first hurdle. And then if we were to add on top of that, we start adding certain circumstances outside of them. this outside of that, when people start focusing on the shell rather than focusing on the core of what that individual brings to the table, which is, again, skin color, religion, orientation, things that throw up an automatic, well, because this person is this way, that we aren't allowed to engage with them because they have this stigma about them, because that is set in stone. And if anything, I hope that, there's more example out there in the fact that you are not set to one destiny here, that we start to recognize that, again, we have our flaws, but we also have our good points, and there should be less, or there should be healthy reflection on the negative, but more focus on the positive of what people bring to the table. Did I lose you? Did I take it too far?
So I think if we're going to move forward, two key things: we need to communicate, and we need to have mutual compassion. And and there's so much talk lately about equality, equity, and especially in terms of relationships. And if we're going to have a successful relationship, then we need to talk about, okay, what is it we expect to give, and what is it we are expecting and wanting to receive, and not having quote unquote rules. Because I remember back in the 90s, there was a book that came out something like Rules for Women, were if you wanted to date a woman, these were the 2,500 or whatever rules that we were supposed to know and respect and go by. And I'm all for the quote unquote traditional relationship if that's what the two people want. But who's to say that you're paying all the bills and her doing all the dishes is what you want, what she wants, or what's quote unquote the right thing?
It's so hard to again, this is, and why I like bringing this topic to the table is, again, what is right, what is wrong, and it depends on which culture you come from and the expectations that come from that culture. I know of a couple dear friends of mine that they are female, they come from Japan, and I mean, that is a very, very honor-based culture where, again, women, while respected to a certain degree, are maybe not as appreciated to the degree that they should be, right? And in reciprocation too, we also need to make sure that, again, as you said, like when it gets into, and we're talking about fatherhood today, but when we're talking about relationships, that kind of ties into it, is, again, fatherhood, like fathers parenting or co-parenting with their wives, that boils into our whole perspective of things and how we're approaching things and how we're addressing them with, again, a little bit of filter, but at the same time trying to instill kind of the learning qualities that we're trying to pass down as parents. Right. So relationships do tie into this.
Exactly. I mean, culture and language play a huge part. I lived in Costa Rica for 5 years, and one of the things that blew my mind down there was how, for the most part, the women and the girls did the housework. The boys would go outside and play soccer. The men would watch TV, and if everyone's truly happy with that, who am I to say that that's wrong? But seemed to me that not everyone was totally happy with that, but wasn't prepared to say that they were unhappy with that.
Yeah. Well, and we look at this, if we look at this, I mean, honestly, you kind of just described a little bit of 70s and 80s culture. Really, you think about that 70s and 80s culture, and it wasn't like it. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't feel it was intentional, but look at what we were raised up with. We looked at television during the 70s and 80s and even 60s, I would dare to say. Like, look at how they like from a healthy men's mental health, looking at women's mental health perspective, women are cultured with all these magazines and expectations of how they're to look. And that's why I said earlier is that this really starts to boil down to the simplicities of, well, I shouldn't say simplicities, but the core at all of this is expectation. What is the expectation? And back then in the 80s, I mean, yeah, a stay-at-home mom was supposed to be the ideal thing that, you know what, there wasn't the good, healthy reflection of what really a stay-at-home mom did. They didn't realize how much was involved. They didn't realize that, oh my God, parenting by yourself at that, I mean, that is literally what it is. Yes, your partner comes home during the evening, but during the day, you are solo. That means if you are feeling sick, that means like that you've got to muscle through. If you are, you know, have doctor's appointments and of course are kind enough to help schedule your husband's, scheduled so that they're going to doctor's appointments, there's certain reciprocations that need to be put into favor and recognized. Same thing for single dads. Myself as a single dad, I didn't have much, but what I did have, I gave accordingly. There was times a couple of years ago that somebody was stuck in a situation down south, and I literally sent them. I knew I didn't have my son for that week, and I sent them my grocery money so that they could eat.
Yep. I mean, I grew up 70s and 80s were obviously lots of days we had school or we had church or something, but if there was literally nothing on our calendar, then the rule was we had to tell an adult that we were leaving the house and wait for them to have an opportunity to say okay or no, we're going to Uncle Bob's for lunch or whatever, and then we could leave. And if we said we were going somewhere, we had to go there. If we said we were coming back at a certain time, we had to be back at that time. Otherwise, we could go anywhere we wanted, and soon as the street lights came on, we were either walking in the door or hopping on a phone saying, hey, I'm at Pacific Theater, movie theater, and should I walk home or should I wait to be picked up?
Very valid examples. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls at home, people of all ages, sizes, shapes, and colors, we're going to invite Zarar up to the stage. He has been joining us so politely in the green room while Charles was talking there. We're going to bring him up to the stage, get his insights on this. I haven't talked to him directly before, but I have been to other audio rooms. Well, back when we had audio rooms, Zarar was a pretty popular guy back then, but he's got a very good heart and a great perspective on a lot of different aspects. And again, we're about bringing things to the table here this evening, talking about some of the tough topics as guys, as men, as fathers, trying to, again, relay good qualities that we should just carry forward, just common human decency onto another human. So without further delay, welcome to the stage, Zarar. Welcome, my friend. And just remember, you're on mute.
Hey, thank you so much, Aaron. Happy Father's Day. Actually, to everybody who has lost their fathers. Could be a sad one for them, but um, I'm one of them. Like one of those. I remember back in 2023, and it's my first time here to be in Aaron's show, um, Soul Man Live, and when I joined this session in the starting, and I was like, "Come on, man! Why did I miss like for this for so many months?" And yeah, it's an honor to be here and to be like just listening, Charles. Yes, was listening Charles, was listening the Dawn, was uh, yeah, 14th April last year. Um, you know, like how Charles was saying about the cultures, we all come from different cultures, especially on this part where Pakistan, uh, where generations and generations they are living together, 3 or 4 generations in one house, critically, and serving their grandfathers, and that's why they live very long. Alhamdulillah, that's a blessing. Why? Because they get attentions from the grandchildren and everybody every morning. So yes, uh,
I've got to say, brother, I have a healthy appreciation for the way that your culture handles mental health. I do, I really do, and again, there's times where, and you're giggling because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Where there's a time where you see this bowl, right? See this bowl, it's empty right now, and you know what's not in there, and your culture really knows well on to just literally like, no, I'm not going to entertain that. We're done with that, and we're going to focus back on peace, harmony.
actually, Aaron, I wish if you guys can like go just once in your life. I mean, just once, and you're going to have a lot more new perspectives and perceptions and so many things that I mean maybe in the future you travel a lot and so
Here's hoping. Here's hoping.
hopefully, and then you're going to have a new direction, and you will be like very surprised like when you will see a 90 years old man sitting outside the house with his grandchildren in the street, open street, and like they're they're lifting the grandfather, taking him inside, taking care of the medicines, each and everything. Especially in the villages, it's too much. I mean, they um, yes, yeah. Last year, it was 14, not last year, so 2023, when we belong from a veteran family. Baba was in army, so he served 1971 war between India and Pakistan. So especially the borders of here in Pakistan. Um, it's like we have a very big, long heritage and roots here in Punjab, especially on this side. So when we got connected, we saw like what Baba did in his uniform when he was in his uniform, how he used to power up these villages, and my cousins have his stories, right? What he was doing. So they when you go there, like I was never in army, but they call you, they remind you, hey son of the major, hey you the major, come here major, come here. So they recall you with your father's name. So it's something in the generations. It's something that uh, you know, Aaron. It's like father is the middle door of the paradise. This is how they are taught, see, from your childhood. So it is up to you now whether you um, take this advantage or not. So the way you train your children's, and the same way you get it back. And especially here on this side, it's mostly um, patriarchal, patriarchal and patrilineal system, which emphasizes mostly on respecting elders when they're getting older and older, to not leave them alone. And one of the suffering, I've been through this trauma. Why? Because Baba, after having some financial losses back in 1993, he made uh, he made one of the strongest decision that he has to take his family, his children's, his wife and children's to a new province where we had no relatives. So we have to live there for over 24 years, away from the relatives and family and roots and everybody. So we grew up like that. So now when we are back to our own heritage and roots, um, I was like, yeah, we should have brought Baba here long back, and he should have like lived more longer, when he should have been like when he was being around in his own relatives, talking to the people, communication. So being in some in a province where you're being told, where you belong from a veteran family, and you're told that you don't need to make any personal relations here because you belong from a veteran family, and then no cousins, no families, no personal relations. So it's like living a life of isolation for over 24 years. And now, but anyways,
But now you've got a lot of social going on for you, my friend. And again, you're sharing your heart on there. I've caught you on audios. And again, there's been times where you've been hit with the right topic and you pour your heart into it. And again, your heart shines just even when you talk. My grandfather, again, he's struggling right now with pain, especially with that fractured tailbone. Walking in and seeing him in pain, but as soon as he got his glasses put on and his hearing aids put in, his frown turned upside down, and the first thing he did was just smile and, "Oh, you came to visit," and literally watched the pain wash from his face, and it's that good time, right? Being responsible, being there for those latter parts of your years where you really need that support, and us as guys really need to give that support on cultures like your own. Again, that's kind of a frowned upon thing, right? Where having an open space and vulnerability, and it's just because I have friends that have been through that as well, that have been from India, and they were smacked around when they were, and I'm not going to reveal their names, obviously, but they were smacked around for whenever they said, "Hey, you know what? Thank you," and I felt like this, and that was not an acceptable thing back then. And now we're trying to press that new boundary of, like, look what we've gone through in our lives. What can we portray onto you so that you're not having to go through the same stuff? Where's that healthy balance of, again, as Charles kind of brought up earlier, where is that fine line of what's good and bad? What is the healthy kind of perspective there? Everybody that comes to the show knows that I'm a humble and kind soul. That doesn't mean that I don't know how to be not like. There's times where I have to be not nice. I keep that as a silver bullet in my belt and try to exhaust all other avenues first. But there's going to be times where it goes from 0 to 90 in how we respond. And shout out to my coach, Melissa Houston, of being a bubble. And I kind of expressed a little story. You've got to check her show out from Saturday morning. I shared the story about what I experienced on a plane. Go and check her replay out. You will hear the story. But grandfathers play a big role, and I can see just even the way that you were talking about him, how much he means to you, the impact that he's had in your world, and how much of that person you are going to carry forward, whether they are there or not. It's something that they've ingrained on you that is always going to have that healthy appreciation. You're doing okay, brother? You're still on mute. Yeah, you're still on mute.
those life essential skills, kindness, empathy, resilience, assertiveness, all those life essential skills. And I swear, when I came here to Punjab, I literally felt it. I never felt in Karachi, in Lahore, in Sindh. But when I after 24 years, bringing the whole family, making up their mind, let's go to our own roots, our own people, our own community, our own tribe. Why we are staying here when we cannot meet people, we cannot talk, we cannot make any relationship? What is the point? So after Baba's, when we lost Baba last year, right after Baba, we lost my sister-in-law. After within 20 days. So two nieces and one nephew, and they're with us. We all living together, but it was hard time for us because two demises within 20 days. Um, and then that the mothers, they are like, I'm going to die here no matter what happens. I'm going to be here in Karachi also. So to make up their mind, to prepare them to know, because we love our mother and we want her to be around her relatives and to meet her sisters and brothers and everybody, to with her nephews and nieces also. So then slowly we I shifted the mind. Even my brother, he was not ready, but slowly he changed his mind, and now we brought him here. Now we go for every after month, every every after 30 or 35 days, we take the children's to the villages, which are really on the. We have like 300 cousins living on the borders of India and Pakistan, from Kasur, Nathuwala, Piruwala, like 300 cousins. So it's like we never knew about this, but when we went there, they have like big havelis, they have different businesses. So they talk about now Baba, like what Baba did for them when he was in uniform, and all those things. So we feel so proud of it. But and then the childrens, they're also learning about they are also a relative. They are also a relative. They are also like they're getting familiar with everything, interactions, engagements with blood cousins. So we have to be around those people, Aaron, those who love you for who you are, and we cannot miss it, right?
Absolutely. And you brought up, you've done it before, and this is the part I always enjoy. A very much admired facet of me to you is you brought up mindset. And shout out to Leslie Flowers as well. With when it comes to talking about mindset, she's another gifted angel when it comes to, again, looking at our mindsets, reflecting on mindsets. And there's so I could literally sit here and rhyme off about 20-30 people that, again, we've changed that perspective. We've taken the time to recognize and reflect that we are not where we want to be in the grandeur of the things that we think up as young men in our worlds, right? We come up like we want to be superheroes, right? We want to be life-size action figures. We want to be in the movies. We want to drive the fancy cars and have the big houses and live on vacation all the time, right? Not having a good, healthy understanding of all the things that are going on behind that, the acting that isn't actually involved, and the acting school, and the countless auditions, and all the other things that come with just one small little job. And is it really ever just one small little job? Right? Everything is a gemstone. Charles, what's coming up for you on this?
A couple of things, because at least in American culture, too many men want to be Batman, and yes, he has some wonderful qualities, but as a parent, as a husband, he's horrible because it's my way or the highway. And then, so I brought up grandparents and wanted to say, the way I was brought up, my dad provided, but then wasn't really present emotionally and physically. He was wonderful provider, but not so wonderful in terms of being physically there or being emotionally there. But so then I ended up having, quote unquote, the talk, as we call it here in the U.S., where young boys get to a point where they're more or less physically capable of becoming a father. And so then someone has to talk to them about that. And so, and his talk was memorable, but not completely, didn't fill in everything more. He was basically, I think I was about 14, and he said basically, you're at the age now where you can get a woman pregnant if you have sex with her. If that happens, you marry her, and she and your kid become your life, and you go to college if you can. You have the career you want if you can, but priority number one is your wife and kids. And if college or if your career goal fits into that, great. Otherwise, find something else.
Yeah. We've come from, again, we've come through a very, oops, sorry. Absolutely, sis. And that's why I accidentally hit me and my clicker here. I need to get one of my newer, I need a new mouse. The narrative needs to change now. Men are no longer always the sole breadwinners. And I think this is great. Now the financial responsibility and stresses can be shared. Absolutely. It's about mutual reciprocation here, right? This is what I was talking about right at the very beginning of the show is let's break down the wall. Let's get rid of men and women and just look at being good human beings to one another. Mutual reciprocation. It's not the old saying was I wash your back, you wash mine. Right. And of course, people over time and the way that things go, of course, they get twisted and people start to lose respect for those sayings. The truth is that just as one of the perspectives I really want to push back out into the world is that us as men, we are working really hard to work with our female counterparts. I myself am blessed. I have, of course, she's in the audience, Nicole Angai Galindo. I've got Leslie Flowers. I've got Melissa Houston. I've got Nancy Deborah Barrows. These are all very impactful, insightful women that when I am learning my own communication, I ask them, I tell them. And you know what? And I brought this up too, is that when I screw up, if I say something wrong and I don't get the right intention, that I will own it. I'll be responsible for it. Acknowledge that I have triggered you, and how do we move forward from this so that I'm in better understanding and that there is clarity. Clarity goes a long way, and that goes back to what Zora was talking about earlier, which is communication. And what I really want to start doing, and okay, we're bringing this up. I love this. Thank you, Wheels. All right. Melissa N. Houston. I am the majority breadwinner and my husband the primary caregiver, school contact, while I work. It works best for us. Again, a situation of good communication. It wasn't just achieved overnight. It was years of practice and working. And of course, big shout out to Dave. He's so blessed to have, again, a coach. With love, he's got a coach for a wife, and she has the ability to communicate, and he has the ability to, again, learn communication and communicate back with her. And she, in turn, also learning his style of communication. It's a team. It's all boiling down to the team. What are the expectations of the team? And here's your team. How are you going to go out there? How are you going to apply what others are saying and play with what you've got?
And it's also systemic, where we have to have systems that acknowledge and accept various roles. I was one of the very first places I went to when I moved to Colorado end of last year was Barnes and Nobles, and I loved. Some of you may laugh at this. I loved how they had a baby changing station in the men's restroom, because who's to say that I can't change a diaper or that I don't want to change a diaper? I mean, at this point, at 55, I'm probably not going to be changing very many diapers, but if I meet a much younger woman or have a friend with a kid, I'd be honored to have a female friend say, "Hey, I know you and trust you to the point where would you mind taking my kid to the restroom and changing the diaper?" I'd love that.
Aaron, it was
Yeah,
like
please continue, Zara. I'm gonna address Melissa here right
like
after.
80-20,
She brings up some great
80-20
stuff.
rules. The 80-20 rules they were like saying, and I really like that, because even on this part, mostly the men's are the breadwinners, and more culturally, like they're like been told about this. But there is two type of marriages. One is like the man is working to so that he can bring in dough.
The sole supporter, yeah.
Yes, and then what happens then, that he gets emotionally disconnect from the family because he knows only one thing, that he has to bring the money home by the end of every 30 days to pay the bills. This is one of the challenges here in Pakistan also. So now, because of how the government has introduced NAF TTC, the TVC, the skill set programs to for the for the, for the for the females to educate themselves, to learn skills, and they can start selling their services online. So now they are being very supportive to the family and everything. But still, in the villages, man, it's like I've seen the men's, they're like on the YouTube, but the women's, they are making faceless channels where they're using avatars on their faces and everything. But somehow they're like getting where the families, they're stopping, the brothers are saying, hey, you cannot show your face. So because like I said, 3 or 4 generations living in the same house. So they have to be but yes, I have seen like how these villages are now the cities, along with the cities, the villages, if the men's are been like taking this responsibility out, that they have to be the only breadwinner. If this thing is like taken out, I think the men's, they will be the most beautiful husband, most handsome husbands, or like where the women and man, they both, the husband and wife, they both have to work and do anything, like whether that's online or on site, anything, but where they're like sharing, they're being support to the family. And um, I think he will be the best servant for his wife. Because now he does not just have to think about winning the bread all the time. So yeah.
You bring up a good couple other points there to bring to the table. There's a lot of cultures in there, as you said, that and this ties in with mental health, again, playing that father role or being the sole supporter. You're the father, there's the expectation, right, laid out for us. There's certain cultures out there where that's if you're not the major breadwinner in the family, that's a sign of dishonor. You've dishonored our family because your better half is making more income. And this is where I start to try, and again, I'm trying to encourage everyone to literally let's stop thinking about it as man and woman. Let's start looking at it as a mission of survival. We are coming together to survive our life's path, our life's journey, and what life is going to throw at us.
What most beautiful thing, Aaron, I loved it, was when I saw women's waking up 5:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock, especially in the Kasur. And the first thing, because they have like buffaloes and cows and everything in their houses, not just one, two, like 15 or 20. And every cow dung is like almost like every day, if it's like giving, because all day is eating. And what they do, the women's mostly, the men's, they go for the fields, for the crops, or for their businesses, whatever the business they're running. Like my cousins, they have like multiple businesses, swimming pools and landlords, and they have like workshops, many things. But one of the things what women do in the house is, because they have cows, 14, 15, 20, 25 cows. So they clean up the dungs,
Mm-hmm.
the cow dungs, and they make puppy, big puppy, and they put it on the walls. And now with the help of that walls, what happens when they dry up, they sell them in the market
I've
for
seen those. Yeah.
this, and that's how they're cooking the food. Yeah, but this is how they live life, and they are very strong. Their children are very strong physically, mentally, and they are very attached to their grandfathers and grandmothers and everybody. Plus, like this, the women are also contributing and being the support, because they have to work every morning, cleaning everything and making their own money with the dungs. So, yeah.
Charles, how is this hitting with you, man? Like, where are
Yes,
you
well,
sitting at with
wanted
this?
to bring up two things. One, wanted to shout out to Islam, who's down in Nicaragua. Happy to have you here, and as bring this up because obviously the U.S. and President Ortega do not have a very good relationship, but the people of Nicaragua and the country of Nicaragua is awesome. I have been there 5 times. If it were up to me, no concerns about time, no concerns about money. I travel to Nicaragua annually. I love it down there. And also, and wanted to bring up an issue of neurodivergence and disability, which impacts ability to handle things. And it would be nice if this wasn't true, but the fact is, if you're autistic and or disabled, your ability to be a quote unquote good provider is vastly decreased. And so, yeah,
Perception.
I
Perception
like
is
all of
playing
us
in a big
have
into this.
have our other issues, but when we have those issues, then we need, if we're going to have a good relationship, we need a partner who understands that and is able to provide partially or willing and able to have a quote unquote lower standard of living, and to say, yeah, I'm choosing to be with you and I know what that's going to entail.
Back to expectations. Right back to the very core of it all. Expectations. What do I expect of you? What do you expect of me? Where are we going to meet halfway on this? Great topic that was just discussed by Melissa Houston on Coffee Chats with Melissa Houston is boundaries, recognizing those boundaries. Love that topic. It was great. It was very close to what we're talking about in today. Where are our boundaries laying with this? How are we going to step up? Right? Because we're not going to, again, with healthy reflection, keeping things equal, we're not just going to say, okay, like men's mental health. No, it's universal mental health at this point. It's broken off into these two facets. How are we going to start to approach it? How are we going to start increasing guys just being candid and open and vulnerable? I'm not saying every one of them's breaking down in front of you, or every one of them's just laying you out with a bomb of negativity. They're literally releasing guy to guy, bond to bond. It's similar to what we experience in family, and that's where, again, we need to start changing the perspective view out there, where we are looking at the person across from us, not all at their shell, but simply at the spirit that they are and what they are presenting to the table. And that if they didn't care about you, they wouldn't say anything at all. Boiling this back into fatherhood. Nicole brought up a really excellent point earlier that I wanted to stab onto. And I'm sure that there's a lot of dads out there that have gone there. I did not have a good dad always. I had a portion of a dad. He went through a very difficult, interesting journey on his own. The latter part of his life was very toxic. He was abusive to my mother. I didn't appreciate that. But that taught me as a man how I wanted to treat the person I cared about. That was a living example on how I didn't want to treat the person that I cared about. I wanted my person to literally stand at my side when the sky is falling and everything's going wrong. I look at you, you look at me, and we're smiling. But we also can't forget the camaraderie that we share amongst brothers. Understanding that every one of us comes from a different walk, and no, it's not going to be fun or exciting. It's going to be challenging to take the higher path, to be kinder, to execute the patience, because not everybody has it. I feel that our society right now is, after COVID, gotten their expectations of everyone very high, considering we just literally got knocked onto our asses. We had a pandemic literally isolate us. And now we're going to show up. And the way that cycle worked was approximately 5 years later that all of a sudden, guess what? We're going to pretend like nothing ever happened. We're going to kick off the world. And yet we're going to face massive shortages all over the place. There's men out there that are struggling to find work. And they're also dealing with their own mental health because they've been isolated for too long. And they didn't know how to reach out because bad patterns and unhealthy habits from their culture led them to this point where we could be educating earlier, where we could be providing, again, a healthy, safe platform to understand that, yes, this is not just a giant bitch fest. This is about identifying the problem, seeing and having a good, honest heart to heart with yourself, seeing where your own problems are. I am not a perfect man by any means. I have a ton of flaws. What's more important is I see those flaws, I recognize on them, and I work on bettering them, creating new healthy patterns and behaviors, recognizing others. And again, I'm gifted with some amazing women in my world that will happily, hey, you know what? I don't feel that you delivered as well on that. Thank you for letting me know that. I am very from the cuff, from my heart, and may not deliver the best always, but I always try to think of that other person, and that's my goal. I want to deliver information to you so that you hear me, you take it, and you roll with it, not take it as an offensive statement, shut down, and think I was being a jerk. And again, pushing a little bit of healthy, fun love onto one another. We're going to make things a little bit happier here because I'm noticing the time, and as great of a time that we're getting all deep into things, I also promise to make things a little bit of fun and happiness. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start off right now, and then we're going to go a little bit of round robin. And you may not, sorry, go ahead, Charles. What's up?
If I can just jump in for 1 second. Yeah, we talk about mental health. I think one thing we need to do, and we're starting to change this, is we need mental health to be available for everyone who needs it. Where we need, I'll say this from my Christian perspective, we need to be an Acts 2, chapter 2 community where in that chapter talks about the people being together and taking care of one another. And so having a mental health system where if you need mental health but can't afford to pay anything, you get it. If I need mental health and I can afford $50 an hour, then I pay $50 an hour. If Zara can get mental health and pay $200 an hour because he's got this wonderful job, or doesn't need mental health but can contribute and pay for yours or mine, then as a village, we take care of the village.
Absolutely. Beautiful point. Well, Charles, you're going to enjoy this. Actually, you're going to enjoy this next little round here as we start to, kind of wrap up the show. And of course, I'm all about throwing. We like to dive down the rabbit hole, and then I like to bring everybody back. And of course, we've talked about some very deep things. I've told you very candidly who I am. I'm always authentically me. If you meet me in person, the person you see on your screen is exactly the person that you meet. There's no show, that it's authentic, no masks. Let's just be, so that we can start to enjoy life, because we've committed how much of our lives to all these little expectations, these little nuances, and what society may have told us or made us lead us to believe was correct. Right? Let's start to live our lives, enjoy moments with friends, actually enjoy those moments where we're putting the phones down, looking at them one to one, eye to eye. Or even in the case, like I had the experience with Donald this week when I was in Winnipeg, being there at the right moment makes the world a difference when that adversity shows up. And to have a brother be there for you in that moment, whether you're a little sister or a little brother, getting that love from a big brother will always just take that world and make it a little bit easier. Paying it forward.
Today, I saw a brother lifting a brother on his back, Aaron, and he was like, he didn't have legs, so he came out of some rickshaw. We have rickshaws here.
Yeah.
So the Fezzi, his name was Fezzi. Fezzi came from the house, and I was sitting in the street like that, and was like watching, because I never knew that his one brother is handicapped. He does not have hands. He does not have legs. So I didn't knew about that, and he came from the first floor to the street, and it was night, about 8:30 to night. He lifted his brother, took him out from the rickshaw on his back, and took him to the first floor. And it was, I wish I can capture it, but maybe the next time. I was saying, Fezzi, no, no, I don't want to be in the camera.
Well, and that's also a difficult situation for you, my friend, because again, we're about a world of perspectives out there. Somebody sees you videotaping somebody carrying somebody with a disability up. They may not think that you have the greatest intentions with that, right? So I don't
So
think you were
you know what?
necessarily
You know what?
wrong,
You know what
but
I said?
it would have been nice to have seen firsthand,
I
for sure.
said, I said, and maybe next time I can do this for you. You don't have to come downstairs, and I'm going to lift your brother. And he said, yes, yes, why not? I'm like, okay then.
Again, paying it forward, and it starts just like that. I love that. Thank you for bringing that up. That's, again, what we're trying to do here. This is, we got to get away from the whole talking about men's and women's mental health. We got to get rid of the sexism involved, if that's the appropriate word even nowadays. It's, again, we got to get rid of the negativity behind it. I understand that we all of our mental health is crucial, and it's about this whole journey of survival. How are we going to make it to the end, and are we going to be laughing and smiling? Are we going to have so many wrinkles from stressing all of our life, you know? All right, like I said, we're gonna wind things around. I like to take, we've dialed into the tough stuff, so now comes the fun part. So the fun parts of being a dad. Okay, so first thing, you might be a dad, and this is a little bit like a Jeff Foxworthy moment. You might be a dad if, or you might be a dad doing the right things if, should be the way that we will start this off, is literally, and he might get on me about this later, but this is Father's Day, and he came out of it okay. But literally, you know that you're doing the right things as a dad when your son can have his first girlfriend on the phone, on speakerphone in your presence, and they can conduct a conversation respectfully. That's a good sign that you're doing a good job as a parent. Other than that, they were probably so fearful of making the wrong statement at that time. Another funny moment from my son was literally shortly after he was born. And I gotta say, you know what, coming up as a dad, there's some definitely awkward things that you never expect. You see them in movies, like I seen it once in a movie, but never expected it. And you figure you're gonna prepare yourself. So in the world of babies, we love the babies. So in the world of babies, they have these little things for little guys, and they are called PPTPs. Well, I don't necessarily know how they tested these things for efficiency, but my mouth says that they're not a really good product to really use. Because literally the first time I popped this thing on, and of course, if you've got a new baby and you're introducing them into the water, you do it gracefully, right? If it's a little dude, because other than that, it's a rocket. Well, literally, I'm thinking I'm safe. I think I'm okay. And I have this little PPTP on, and literally, no. What ends up happening is the PPTP ends up rocketing into my mouth, gaggingly so. It actually, I just happened to be turning. I was like, oh shit, and realized that, you know, it wasn't working. And literally, it went in my mouth, and then my son peed in my mouth, and then I got really sick. It was a very awkward situation. I didn't know what else to do other than reach for the basin underneath the sink, and literally while I'm trying to maintain calm with my son is throw up. So there we go. There's a little bit of fun stories. I'm going to invite both of you to share one funny story about either a father-son situation or a grandfather-grandson situation, something that's funny that sits at home for you, and just appreciating the fact that, you know what, us dads, we do take one for the team on occasion. Charles, why don't you start off? You got a good sense of humor. What's going on here for you?
Oh, dad situation. Really, two situations I remember are whenever I had to change my son's diaper, I was lucky. He never peed on me. He peed on my then wife, and he peed on my mom, but he never peed on me. But I countless times right before work would burp him, and since he was a preemie, he would projectile vomit onto my work shirt. I'd kiss my then wife goodbye and head off to work with vomit on my work shirt.
How to win friends and influence them 101. Oh my God, Charles. Good on you, my friend. Gerard, what do you got for us, my friend? What do you got?
Uh, that reminded me of a story my mother was telling me, and also my mamu, how do you call mamu? My uncle from my mother's side. Okay, mamu, we say mamu. My mother's brother. Okay, he's the youngest one. So he was telling a story of one of my cousin. That have you seen the brown sugar, like in a solid form?
Yes.
It's not about pee, but it's about caca. One of my cousin.
Yeah. I was so waiting. I haven't heard the word caca in so long. I'm so glad you used it. Keep going.
One of my cousin, he was having constipation. Okay, he was very young, and she was just 8 or 9 years old, and very severe constipation. And my mamu was standing there, and she did some caca, and mamu was watching like that, and he thought maybe it's like a sugar cane. And then he lifted and he tasted it. So
Pure sugar. I've had a ton of sugar cane before too. Like it made its way home at some point in time, and I had a chance to get to try sugar cane. And I know that again, the raw sugar comes from a lot of the derivative of that. So, oh my God, yeah, I know exactly the cubes that you're talking about, and they're like it's. I would almost say it's like mixing honey with sugar.
Like I said, especially in the big families where 3 or 4 generations are living in one house, so it happens. The funny things, they many, because lots of children, lots of family members, especially in my grandmother house, there are more than 6 families living in one house. So mostly lots of adventures are going on.
That reminds me of some of those moments as a dad that literally, if your son is saying something, or son or child, depending on what you got at home, whenever they're saying something awkward and you happen to have candy in your hand. Hey, my son, bless his heart. So we're into the doctor's office one morning. He's not feeling so well. And there was a lady that came in, again, to each their own, sporting the old retro 80s hairspray hair. And of course, we learn a little bit of etiquette in the world. My son had no etiquette. Literally said, Dad, what's wrong with her head? And that was the time that I did have a candy literally in my mouth. I was about to pop a Werther's, and I literally put it into his mouth. And she turned around and looked at me, and I was just like, candy? Deflection, right? Deflection. Here, you want a piece of candy? Right. All right, guys, thank you so much for your shares this evening. I'm going to start wrapping things up. I haven't done this for a long time, and it's been a long time since we've done a one-on-one, but we've been running for 2 hours. I've pulled
Thank you, Aaron.
2 hours.
Thank you, Aaron, so much. I mean, this was my first time to be on your show, and when you played those videos, the intro videos in the starting, and I was like, come on, this is my show. This is where I started smiling, literally. And I still have to learn a lot about this. How do you do this editing on the AI and everything? I have to learn this. Maybe in the next
magic.
show. But it was amazing. It was an honor. It was absolutely to be here. And thank you so much. Looking forward for more of these events. Thank you, bro.
Thank you so much, Gerard. Thank you, Charles. You have anything you want to say to everybody?
Thank you to everyone, and just noticed that Felipe's here now. Hey, Felipe, and great having this show tonight. Thank you.
You two are very welcome, and thank you for
Thank you,
sharing the
everybody in
time.
the audience, also everybody who supported us, and Charles, you as well, and Leslie and everyone. And thank you. Peace out.
All right, thank you, Zarar. Okay. Wow. We hit a lot of tough stuff tonight, but we had a good, respectful, open conversation. That's the way we do it. That's how we start to break down these walls. That's how we start to set the new trend. Not all of us are perfect out there. I am, again, not perfect whatsoever, but I try. I try very hard. And it starts with communication. More so, communication with yourself. Understanding your soft and hard boundaries is a big part of how you're going to learn to communicate with others. Because if you can communicate with yourself and be honest and really look at some of the tough stuff that you have wanted to look at for years, that's where the real change and healing starts. And then when you achieve that, then you can start working on that communication with everybody else, because then you know yourself enough on how to communicate with them and learn their communication patterns as well. Wow, it's amazing what happens out there. And hello, Felipe. I do see you, my friend. And it's so great that you could stop by here. I can't believe that we've gone 2 hours and we had, again, some good talks about fatherhood, men's mental health, and breaking down the walls on the stigmas that surround this. Men's mental health is important. There are certain avenues and aspects that we are brought up with turn the other cheek, be kind, be humble, don't get into fights. And if you're going to get into a fight, don't be I might be, this was, and I'm going to quote her on this because she knows I'm good for it. Well, that came from Melissa Houston's show the other day, because my grandmother said the same thing. If you're going to get into a fight, don't be the one that throws the first punch. Hopefully we can get to those places without having to throw the punch, where we can have a good, respectful conversation between one another and understand that we may not always see eye to eye, but we're going to find a way that we can at least talk through it respectfully and appreciating one another, walking away from the table. All of you, thank you for attending this round table for this evening. Happy Father's Day out there. To all of you that may not have a dad around right now that you can't be with and celebrate on Father's Day, know that I'm pretty sure that they're smiling down on you. And for all those moms, single moms, or single parents, however you choose to see yourself in this world, you are as equally important. Single parents, period, in the worlds of expectations. What we just try to do is make sure that our child can survive what's coming up next for them in the generations that will be gone. Thank you, one and all. Appreciate you all for being here, sharing your hearts. And I'm going to bring this up real quick because he just mentioned it. Felipe, it's unfortunate when people take advantage of men that deal with mental health by gaslighting others. It is very sad. We're going to work to change that. I'm smiling. I've worked through a lot of my demons and have put them into check. Do they get out of control sometimes? Absolutely. Is it 100% foolproof system? Absolutely not. This is a day-to-day execution of commitment to just want to do better and be a better person and paying it forward. Appreciate you all. Thank you for your love and support. We will hopefully be kicking off June 27th. If anybody knows a little lady named Sia Restaurant, I always mispronounce her last name. Anyways, a little lady like that. I'm still waiting for some photos from you, my lady, and your show's supposed to be at the end of the month. So yeah, if you could give her a little buzz, let her know. Additionally, some shout outs and some love. Melissa Houston Coaching and Consulting has been part of tonight's topic in conversation, and the fact of feeling like I'm part of a team. Yes, is my team literally a family? 100%. But I've got a really great coach that when I think that the other team's pulling a foul play on me, that I have somebody to bang that stuff off of. So please reach out to documentthenact.com. Please, Nick, Never in Control. She has a new book coming out that is already well underway. We've produced the video through Crystal Behe's song. our Bay song. Why did I keep on? I went back to an old school thing that I did, like literally my first season on Soul Man Live, when I call her Crystal Bay when it's Crystal Bay. So it's me just trying to get fancy. And we've talked a lot for this evening. Much love to Felipe. Shout out to Emotional Women with Jackie Halberg and Melissa Houston. Mind Over Matter Mondays with Nicole. And of course, our Queen of Errata, Leslie Flowers. We've also got Think and Go Rich on Fridays with Leslie Flowers. She's got some new and amazing stuff coming up. Just Jacks with Jackie Halberg. Fantastic show. If you guys haven't done so already, there's some great cats within the 2350 network that Damien and a lot of others have collaborated on with some good heartfelt souls. Thank you to Kenny Dunner for being here earlier with always his savor the flavor. Keep it luminous, keep it kind, and it is time to roll that outro. All of you have a great Father's Day, and just know you're seen, you're appreciated, and you are definitely on the soul train with us. You're not alone.
Soul Man, shining bright, lighting up the darkest.
Okay, did anybody else notice like the screen didn't work there, or is that just me? See, I'm just having so much fun back in the studio again. I just had to do it. All right, let's try this again. Round 2.
Soul Man, shining bright, lighting up the darkest night, helping those in silent fight, sending hugs big and tight. Shine your light, oh so bright, spread love, make it right. Soul Man, you ignite, open every heart, take flight. Spotlight on the broken soul, making wounded spirits whole, embracing all, making them whole. Your kindness, a shining gold. Shine your light, oh so bright, spread love, make it right. Soul Man, you ignite, open every heart, take flight. Let your love be the guide, in you all fear subside. Together we'll stand with pride, your warmth a healing tide. Shine your light, oh so bright, spread love, make it right. Soul Man, you ignite, open every heart, take flight. Let your love be the guide, in you all fears subside. Together we'll stand with pride, your warmth a healing tide. Shine your light, oh so bright, spread love, make it right. Soul Man, you ignite, open every heart, take flight.
Wait, like, what are you still doing here? It's time for you to go off and enjoy the rest of your fun day. Happy Father's Day. Catch you cats later. We're ending in 5, 4,